Hello and welcome to IPFingerprint Visitor Tracking. I'm going to be running this demo on how to actually identify individuals who are visiting your website, having a look around, but perhaps not making contact. So I'm putting this together as a way of trying to pass on a little bit of knowledge and some methods that I've developed to try and circumvent the difficulty with converting leads provided by visitor tracking into new business. So hopefully this will show you the missing piece of the puzzle. I know a lot of you are aware of what visitor tracking does at the identifying the business level, but perhaps may not be familiar with the techniques you can deploy to actually identify individuals. So it's not an exact science. As you know, the lead lookup itself that we perform cannot return individuals' email addresses or individual identities for legal, ethical and technical reasons. But hopefully this will show you the alchemy, if you like, that you can use to obtain that data. So we're in the IPFingerprint Visitors dashboard. For those of you new to IPFingerprint or are considering visitor tracking, this view is the heart of the tool. It's where you're going to see most of your analytics, and it's where your company leads are going to drop in as and when businesses are visiting your pages. So I'm going to highlight 3 columns on this view that we're going to look at. These are particularly useful for new business development people or salespeople. So those are company and organization, goal pages, and time spent. There is a lot of other detail in this page that's going to be useful for marketeers, such as source and search phrases, etc. Also probably referrer. But those 3 columns are the ones that are going to inform your decision on which leads to direct your attention to. So just to tell you a little bit about goal pages, you can custom set up your goal pages, or we can set them up for you. It's just basically a color indicator which shows visits to key pages that are of interest to you. So it makes for a more intuitive way of using the tool at a visual level, so you know very quickly which leads are worth looking into. So I'm going to be looking at this company today, a company called Equitech, who hit the site on the 20th of July. They reached our pricing page. They arrived through this link, and they actually bounced. Usually I'd overlook bounces, but when it's combined with a visit to the pricing page, then it's always worth looking into. So I'm going to click into Equitech. Again, for those of you with fresh eyes on this, this is the visitors details page. This is the actual lead profile. I'm going to flesh out very quickly the data that we collect on companies. So you've got the visit date and time, you've got the company name, you've got the physical address, you've got telephone number, general email address at this point, and the web address. You've also got visitor's device, and you've got the visit history. So because this company's only been on the site once, there's just one entry for the visitor's history. Over time, if a company visits your site numerous times, you'll be able to scroll down, and the entire visit history, regardless of when it was, will be visible in this one view. So there are 3 tools in IPFingerprint that can help you add to the initial insight into the company and really sort of put together a picture that you can use to conduct some lead research and hopefully move the lead forward. So you've got Google. Obviously clicking that will just do a search for the company in Google, so we're going to bypass that. You've got LinkedIn and Hunter. So let's start with LinkedIn. Clicking that just tunnels through to LinkedIn. It auto does a search for the company, and you see you've got 5 results there. The top one is the one I'm after. So let's click into Equitech. So you see these guys have 55 employees. I've chosen this company as an example deliberately because it hits that sweet spot in terms of the type of and size of company that is a good prospect for myself. I'm going to talk a little bit in a moment about how to deal with the issue of, if you work with blue chips, corporates, that starts to present a difficulty and the well-known sort of wild goose chase conundrum of not being able to ID the individual. Admittedly, the larger the company, the more of a limitation it presents, but even with a company of size of 500, there's still a lot you can do with LinkedIn. We'll look at that in a moment, but let's click into the list of employees for Equitech. So now you see we've got a number of employees. At this point I'm going to reference the location of the visit. So on the visitor details you see they visited from London, so that's already a useful piece of information. And now I just need to cross-reference really. You've got a few people here coming in from London, and if I skip on to page 2, scroll down, and here we have the marketing director at Equitech, Paula Orlerton, who's based in London. So she's a key individual for me. I've actually contacted her already, as I say. I've also contacted Sophie Lewis, who's a marketing executive working under working under Paula. And as I say, we're going to run demos for them, so things are moving along. So as you see, just with a few clicks and the right insight, I've been able to ID the actual person who was behind the visit. So that was Paula in this case. So now I'm going to copy her name. I'm going to switch back to IPFingerprint, and now we're going to go into Hunter just to complete the process. So Hunter is a free tool. They're a Silicon Valley startup. I think they're actually no longer a startup. They've been going a few years, but they're one of these quirky, trendy sort of Silicon Valley companies. So they offer a free plan. You'll get 150 email address searches per month as a hard quota. You see I've executed 128, so almost there. I've never actually hit my quota, and it will reset in 6 days. If you pay for Hunter, then you'll get lead management functionality and some other sort of CRM light type features. But you see off the bat, just from doing the company search, it delivers a lot of email suggestions for various people. It gives you even details of their role, telephone number if they volunteered that. You've got a mobile number here, LinkedIn button, and so on. So green spots indicate 100% match. It is a correct email address, and it's got a very high confidence score, 95%, 95 again, 95, 94, and so on. You can also see the sources if you just open up this drop down. That's where it's found all that information. So basically what it's doing is something that you could do in hours, or you might not even achieve it at all, and it does it all in a second or two. If we scroll down, you can show more email addresses, and eventually you'll see some yellows. Yellows basically indicate that Hunter's not sure. It hasn't matched the email address 100%, and it's just an educated guess going by the most common email format for that company. So we were going to do a search on Paula Orlerton. So you've got this name sub-search field. Just tap the name in, hit enter, and you see that already it's returned a result, 93% confidence rating. It's been found 12 times on the web at these URLs. So far so good. I could send to that email address at this point, but I can also do some further validating. So if I click the verifier up in the top left here in the toolbar, just paste the email address in, click verify. What that's going to do is going to ping that inbox and return some analytics. So you see I've got a match. So now I know it's definitely the right email address. It doesn't look like gibberish, as it says there. Email address is valid, and so on. If I were to invalidate the email address by deleting a letter, then you see it returns a negative result. Occasionally it might return an amber result, and it'll say risky email address. Basically it just means it's not sure. And at that stage what you can do is send to that email address anyway. If it bounces back, then you know you've got the wrong one. So once you've identified individuals on LinkedIn, if you find 2 or 3 people of interest, then source all their email addresses and send them your value proposition, and so on. You could send them independently or in one email. I want to talk a little bit about the blue chip conundrum that a lot of people raise. So the way to get around that, if you do work with a lot of blue chips, then you might require a paid version of LinkedIn, as I have. So this is an advanced search feature in Sales Navigator in LinkedIn. And I'm going to use the example of SaaS Plaza, who are a current client of ours, a fairly large company, just 95 of them on LinkedIn, but I know they have a lot more employees than that. And I'm going to search by function. So I want to look for people in marketing. Function is just a general theme, really. You can search new business development, sales, marketing. If you want to go more granular, just look for people by job title in this field. So you see, just those two pieces of information, and already I've managed to whittle down 94 people down to just 4. So if I hit search, these are the people with a function of marketing at SaaS Plaza, and you see I've got their marketing manager there at the top. So you see how easy it is when you have the right tools. I'm going to switch back to IPFingerprint, just finish off by talking about best practice, how to approach visits, when to respond, and so on. So I often get asked this question, and I also often get asked, do people react badly? Do they get spooked because they've been on your site? To be honest, I've never had any really negative responses. My rule of thumb is to wait at least 24 hours. The sooner you call, obviously, there is an impulse to call as soon as a visit comes in. That's just going to increase the chances that you're going to get a negative response. Most common responses I get are indifference. You'll get through to the right person. They'll say, oh yeah, that was me. We're shopping around at the moment. What can you offer? Can we run a demo, etc. Other times people even react with intrigue. They'll say, I didn't know you could do that, and then suddenly they'll be interested in visitor tracking. But in all honesty, I've never had anyone react badly, and it's not necessarily unsolicited contact, because you've basically just identified their visit to your site, exactly what Google Analytics does by tracking IP addresses. We're just delivering the content behind that IP address to give you the data you need to follow up on the visit. If you're not able to pick up the phone and speak with the person you've identified in LinkedIn through this method, then obviously try emailing them by obtaining their email address through Hunter. Failing that, use the info@ email address. It's not the end of the world if you don't get through by phone or through their personal business email address. I often call a company, speak to their reception, explain the nature of the call, and they'll volunteer to circulate some information, at which point I'll take a screenshot of the actual visit details just to validate my contact, capture that, attach it to the email, add your value proposition, explain the situation. Somebody was on our site a few days ago, perhaps you're shopping around, can we offer further information or a demo? And then off you go. Occasionally that will make it in front of the right eyes, and you'll hear back from them. So that's all I wanted to cover today. Hopefully it's just a quick insight into what you can do to really add value to the service and the data, and really make it work for you, get a decent ROI on the initial investment with us, and more. If there's anybody who'd like a more thorough demo of the how to ID individuals, or any other aspects of the tool, reporting, lead scoring, etc., I'm always happy to run demos, so it'd be great to hear from you. So thank you for listening, and good luck.